All right, y'all. So for this Where the Heart Is analysis, we are going to talk about the ways in which we see the Lord redeeming Novalee. So this is our table of contents. We're going to discuss the ways we feel that she's broken. Or actually, I'm going to discuss the ways I feel, and you guys hopefully, will engage and put your views in the comments. We're going to talk about the ways that she displays wholeness. Is what she's doing in this scene a strength or a weakness? In what ways does God ease her mind? In what ways does Novalee see that she needs to change? In what ways do we see God using imperfect people to bring about change in her life? In what ways does Forney help to bring about change in her life? In which ways does Novalee help Forney to improve? In what ways do we see that Willie Jack is actually the pitiful one? We're going to talk about a bit of symbolism. In what ways is Novalee able to give back? Who is your favorite character and why? What is your favorite quote of the film? Some final thoughts, and then just a little bonus about another character. All right, y'all. First up, in what ways is she broken? In what ways does she display brokenness? All right, y'all. So in the beginning scenes, we see the length of Novalee's hair, which of course is fine. It could, they could have left it long to help her appear more youthful in these scenes, but her hair doesn't really appear to be trimmed to me, and also it doesn't appear to be well brushed. So she was not looking after her appearance well. She also was wearing nail polish that was wearing off, and that's just another example of her not keeping up with her grooming, not thinking that her appearance really matters, not putting in the work, or maybe, just not having the resources to look the way she wanted to look. Novalee doesn't have any resources of her own and looks to Willie Jack to provide for her. Her shoes she lost through the hole in the floor of his car, and she tells him that she needs more shoes, and she's with an unloving guy who doesn't eagerly hand her over some cash, so she has to ask again, saying, she's got to have some kind of shoes. So having to push the man you're with to provide for you, first of all, it's not good. And her saying that she has to have some kind of shoes, any kind of shoes, it just shows that she's willing to settle for anything she can get. In the middle of the film, Forney asks her if she's seeing anyone, and Novalee informs him that she's no longer seeing that guy, and she tells Forney that going forward, she's not going to have any men at all, no more men at all. And it's because she thinks the only men she can get are the ones who are all wrong for her. She refused to be with Forney because she didn't think that she was good enough for him. She felt as though she would have been holding him back from living his best life, going to college and pursuing his dreams if he had chosen to stay with her and take a job at the plastics factory. She was used to people leaving her, and she was used to them leaving and going after their dreams. So she felt that, it's either Forney's dreams or it's me. Forney's best life or me. While she's out with Forney, she finds a camera, and about 50 minutes into the film, well, really, probably exactly 50 minutes into it, she goes to Moses Whitecountain and shows him the camera. And then she's like, "Do you want to hear something funny?" She was like, "Maybe one day, a long time from now, maybe I could be a photographer." And, she's very timid when she's saying that. And she's using the words funny and maybe a long time from now because she doesn't believe in herself and doesn't really expect anyone else to. All right, y'all. So let's talk about the ways she displays wholeness. All right, y'all. So I feel that Novalee is not afraid to speak up for herself. Even though I stated that the way she told Willie Jack, "I gotta have some kind of shoes," sounded kind of broken to me. It also sounded kind of whole, her expressing her needs, verbalizing them. And she asked her mother, "Did you come all this way just to make fun of me?" Also, there's a sharpness about her. When she was sitting in the hospital bed, with Lexi and they were reading the letters from, the people just writing in after seeing her on TV, there was a lady who said that, I can't offer you much. What I can offer you is a good home. Novalee was like, send her the $10. It's possible that that woman wanted only publicity and money, and Novalee caught on to that. All right, y'all, in these next two slides, please let me know if y'all think these are strengths or weaknesses. All right, so we already touched on this. She said that she's got to have some kind of shoes. Would y'all think that that was her being strong and assertive, or would y'all think that that's her being weak and saying I got to have something, anything at all? Y'all, I don't think I saw Novalee shed a tear once, even when Americus was kidnapped. And she doesn't cry when Willie Jack abandons her, nor when she's homeless. She's accustomed to abandonment and adapts. Um, Now, while I don't think that anyone should adapt to brokenness, because abandonment is definitely brokenness, what do y'all think? Do y'all think she's strong for not crying when she's abandoned and homeless? Or do y'all think, hey, it's just more brokenness? All right, y'all. In what ways do we see God easing Novalee's mind? And no, this is not a clip from the movie. This is just a random picture I found of the actress. All right, y'all. So Novalee spent literally just a few moments with Mama Lil, as she called herself. And from that, Mama Lil took her $500 and left. And it just showed Novalee what she needed to know about her mom, because in her heart and in her mind, she was probably still hoping for a relationship with her mother and wondering if her mom was sorry for ever leaving her. And even though, reality can hit hard, Novalee needed to see her mom for who she still was. And Novalee, she got the chance to see that she would never have Mama Lil as her mom in the way that she needed, physically, and when it came to just mentorship and having a mother figure who was wise. Because really the only advice that Mama Lil gave her probably throughout her entire life happened in this scene when she said all the pricks moved to California, and that was her unsympathetic response to Novalee telling her mother that Willie Jack, the man she had been counting on, abandoned her and moved to California. Her statement, all the pricks moved to California, just showed that, Mama Lil was an unforgiving pessimist. And we all know that that's not what the Lord wants for Novalee. And we do see that Novalee is going to extend forgiveness. And that she's not going to be a pessimist, even though there is brokenness in her. She is going to be super hopeful. She's going to be a super, super optimistic, and we're going to see that optimism shine through when we talk about, her conversation with Lexi when she was comforting Lexi. In what ways does Novalee see that she needs to change? All right, y'all. So Novalee takes sister's husband's truck to get the brakes fixed, and she meets the guy and sleeps with him. She sleeps with a guy who has the same occupation as Willie Jack. We know that they have the same occupation because at the beginning of the film, Novalee says that Willie Jack fixed his car from the ground up. Well, he fixed everything except for the floorboard. So this is an example of, we can leave certain environments and certain people, but there are still habits within our own selves that need to break. And Novalee does see that, there's a toxic behavior within her, and she keeps choosing certain behavior patterns that negatively affect her life. She tells Lexi she didn't even want to be with him because she wasn't sure why she slept with him. She has a pregnancy scare, and Lexi asks Novalee if Novalee used anything, and Novalee says that the guy used only her. He didn't use a condom, he used only her. Novalee is used to people just using her for whatever reason and then tossing her aside. She later tells Forney that she's not dating that guy anymore, that those types of men are all wrong for her, immediately stating after, no more men at all. because she feels that those are the only types of men she can get, and if she can only be with the men who are bad for her, why be with anyone? In what ways do we see God using imperfect people to bring about change in Novalee's life? Sister husband is an alcoholic, but even people with issues can love well. Because nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. But the Lord can use anybody to impact your life. Whether they're dropping a seed or whether they're just helping to completely change your life, helping you to completely start over, start anew. And she's also the mother figure and the grandmother figure that Novalee and Americans both need. I also like that her truck says welcome woman because that's all she wanted to do. She just wanted to welcome Novalee and to love on her. She didn't want to use Novalee as Novalee has been used in the past by the mechanic who Novalee says used just her instead of, a condom. And Novalee was also used by her mother, for that $500. And she was used by Willie Jack for whatever reason Willie Jack had her around. But once she met Sister Husband, her days of being used and abused were over. In what ways does Forney specifically help to bring about change in Novalee's life? One way Forney helped to bring about change is by helping her to get a Christmas tree. She told him that she had never had a real tree, and he was happy to help her do that. Forney is just super happy to be with her, whether they're just strolling, buying used items, or if he's helping her do something she's never done before, such as buy this tree. At the end of the film, this is basically the last line of the movie. He says, Novalee, there isn't anything better than you. Because she's always feeling that there's some kind of competition. There's always something that might be better than her. Whether it's Mama Leo going after the umpire, she has to compete with the umpire or any man, or, whether it's Willie Jack trying to go to California to pursue his career, she has to compete with his dreams. And when she learned that Forney had big dreams, she was thinking to herself basically, I can't compare, I can't measure up, I can't compete with that, I can't make him happy. But there isn't anything better than Novalee because Novalee is Novalee. She is necessary for this world because there isn't another Novalee. God felt that she was just right for this world and just right for certain people, including Forney. All right, y'all. So Novalee was not reading very well when she first met Forney. He gave her a book on Buckeye trees, and she said it took her 30 minutes to read a page because she had to look up those words in the dictionary, and then she had to look up those words in the children's dictionary. And Forney in the beginning was just very impatient with her and stuff. But we see that he becomes more and more gentle with her and patient with her when it comes to her reading. He really stretches her mentally and helps her to grow. We also we also see him in one scene playing checkers with her, and later on she's able to just write and give a speech. Thanks, no doubt, to Forney's presence and influence in her life. All right, so Novalee is getting all this love from Sister Husband and from Forney and from, people writing letters to her. But how is she helping others? In what ways does Novalee help Forney to improve? All right, y'all. So in this scene, Novalee came over to show Forney the baby that he helped to deliver and to take a picture of Americus and Forney. And she takes off his hat. And now when she takes off that hat, throughout the film, we never see him place that hat back on. Um, and I feel that it's an old part of him that she helped to take off that he never placed back on. Even in the winter time when they were getting a Christmas tree, he did not have that hat on. And I Googled very quickly, what does the color brown represent? And I got that it represents security and safety, feelings of loneliness, sadness, and isolation. So we don't see him pretty much after this scene. We won't see him anymore in like drab colors. We're gonna see him in like blue and burgundy. Um, but yeah, she just really helps to bring some sunshine to his life. And he also just takes better care of his appearance. He shaves better, and we don't see any stubble going forward. All right, y'all, now let's talk about the ways in which Willie Jack is actually the pitiful one. So, shortly after he abandoned Novalee and got arrested, he was sitting in jail and he wrote Beat of a Heart because he had felt the beat of his baby's heart. But at the time, he didn't want to admit it to Novalee. I think in that scene, when she asked him to, feel the baby, he replied with, I don't feel nothing. Because maybe that's what he actually wanted for himself. Maybe he didn't want to feel nothing. I mean, feel anything. Maybe he just wanted to just be single and live a wild lifestyle and go after his dreams and don't feel anything. Just be numb to life. But he didn't feel nothing. He felt the beat of a heart. And he wrote the song. Willie Jack was living a fast life and he wanted things to move fast for him. And he felt that his manager, Ruth Myers, was moving too slowly. So he went to Johnny DeSoto wanting Johnny's help. He wanted to replace Ruth. Johnny did not want to cross Ruth and he was afraid to. And I guess in wisdom, he did not. But word got back to Ruth that Willie Jack was trying to get Johnny to be his manager. And Johnny had told Willie Jack that, something along the lines of, you don't want Ruth as your enemy. But Willie Jack wasn't trying to hear that because, he was young and knew it all. But because he was trying to replace Ruth, when it was said that he stole the song Beat of a Heart from his cellmate, Ruth was not willing to protect him since, he was trying to give her the boot behind her back. Willie Jack he's a guy who just wants things his way. And he just ends up losing things when he doesn't get what he wants. So, he had one good song that went on the radio and everybody knew him for that. But then after that, his career pretty much, was kind of stagnant. But after his own actions, trying to fire Ruth Myers and replace her, that was really it for him. There was no hope for his career. It was all over. Now, after Willie Jack got into that accident and Novalee went and saw him in the hospital, he told her that he was going to see her. And I was like, it's very interesting how he assumed that she was still there. But she was still there, for God's own good reasons. I was like, okay, he just gonna assume that she's still sitting there in her flip-flops at Walmart waiting for him to return. He found her in the same city he left her in, but he didn't find her in the same place. He didn't find her with the same finances and resources. Although he found her in the same city, he didn't find her the same way he left her. He found her different, better. And actually, just remembering this scene actually makes me remember one of the first scenes when he was feeling Novalee's belly and he said he couldn't feel anything when she asked him if he could feel, the baby's heart. He said he could feel nothing. And I believe that words, can manifest. And now, since he's paralyzed, he literally cannot feel anything. All right, y'all. Next up, let's talk about symbolism. All right, y'all. I'm having so much fun making this. Okay, but let's talk about the Buckeye tree. Some people think that the Buckeye tree represents good luck. I don't believe in luck. I believe in time and chance and faith and works. I don't wish people good luck. I don't like for people to wish me good luck because I think that all things are spiritual. I really don't know a lot about luck, but I don't think it's of God. And I just try to be careful of universal phrases. But we learned that Novalee's tree is dying because it isn't being properly cared for. Brother Sprock, when she goes to visit them, says that, her planting the tree needs to be planted in the highest part of the yard. And also, y'all, her planting the tree, in their yard is symbolic of her planting her life amongst theirs. And them allowing her to plant her tree in the highest part of their yard tells me that they're willing to sacrifice their best for her. And the tree being planted in a high place in the yard is elevation for the tree, and that's symbolic of elevation in Novalee's own life. And that the same way the tree has a home and is getting settled, Novalee is also getting settled. She is being planted into good, fertile ground. Novalee's profession as a photographer shows just how much she likes to grasp and capture every moment. Even before she moved from her hometown, she was able to see the beauty in every moment, despite anything she was going through. But when she was in a better environment, she was able to hone her skills and let her creativity flourish. All right, y'all. So in this scene, she had just attended Forney's sister's funeral, and her dress is not black. Even when sister husband died, she wasn't in a well, she was in a black dress, but it had gray circles, so it wasn't completely dark. And I think that her never wearing anything black shows that she feels that nothing is ever really the end. Nothing is the end of the whole world. I think there's so much light in her, um, so much light in her that she's just able to move on and expect that things will continue to change. And that's something she told Lexi. And it seems she was like, our lives can change with every breath we take. So she moves forward believing, things don't end, things just change. All right, y'all. So I'm eager to get this video out because I've been working on it for like 2 or 3 months, which is probably longer than I should have been working on it, but that's okay. So I just want to talk about the number 6. In this scene, when she's talking to the reporter, he asked her how long she was living in the Walmart, and she said 6 weeks. All right, y'all. So I didn't put much effort into analyzing the number 6 in Novalee's case because I'm just so excited to post this. But what I did think about is the fact that the Lord worked for 6 days, and on the seventh day he rested. Novalee lived in Walmart for 6 weeks. So it just seems to me that she's in a different time in her life. I think that sometimes we prepare for our next without realizing it. I feel that where we are now is because we or somebody prepared for us to be here. And whatever we're doing now is important, but it's still preparing us for our next. You know, On that note, when Novalee was homeless for 6 weeks, she was just trying to survive, but she was still unknowingly preparing for her next in her cultivating a relationship with sister husbands. She was keeping up appearances with sister husband, brother Sprock, and Forney, and all of that mattered when she no longer had Walmart as her residence and was in her next. But I've learned to never underestimate the power of a seed. Never underestimate the power of relationships, of rapport, because that could help position you when it is time for your next. Novalee kept seeing these people. She kept going around them with no intent to selfishly use them. But it all worked out for her because God. Being with Willie Jack, Novalee did not lose the shirt off her back, but she did lose the shoes off her feet. And I wrote, when you're with the wrong person or in the wrong situation, you'll literally lose what you do have, such as Novalee losing her shoes. Novalee does not like the number 5, but biblically, the number 5 symbolizes God's grace, goodness, and favor. And we see favor being extended to her so often throughout the film. She didn't get in trouble for living in Walmart. The president of Walmart or the manager, one of them, wrote her a check, offered her a job. She received a place to stay and a loving family, a guy who began adoring her, a best friend. She received community and the life she always deserved. She was even left an inheritance by sister husband. So nobly, you may think you don't like 5s, but God often uses numbers to symbolize what he's doing, and the favor of God is so over your life. Sometimes when you're positioned where you need to be, there is acceleration. I didn't get the image that I wanted to get, but I did see that Novalee was writing the death of sister husband, and that sister husband died only a month before Americus's 5th birthday. But Americus was able to celebrate her 5th birthday in the new home that Novalee and her neighbors constructed. So not much time passed between sister husband dying, Novalee receiving the inheritance, and Americus's birthday being celebrated in the home. But Novalee did get to experience acceleration during that time of her life due to the favor over her life. All right, in what ways is Novalee able to give back? All right, y'all. So we definitely see her exercising her gift of encouragement because Novalee has been encouraged by all of the kindness and love and intentionality, that others have shown to her and to her child. And the word says that, we're able to encourage others because we ourselves have been encouraged. And in this scene, we do see her encouraging Lexi. In this scene, when Lexi is telling Novalee what Roger did to her children and to her, Lexi is holding a bear that has only one eye. And I think that that one eye is symbolic of how Lexi was not able to fully see Roger for who he was. She said that all she saw was a Buick. So she was blinded by his car. But Novalee, encouraged Lexi even in that. Novalee knows that unexpected things can happen. So even if things, were going better for them, her response to Lexi is that their lives can change with every breath they take. We can't always control what happens to ourselves, nor to our loved ones, but Novalee said that there's good in all of us and we have to be sure to pass it on. And she's definitely passing on good in her conversation to Lexi and passing on encouragement. All right, y'all. Who is your favorite character? Mine is Forney. Okay. I just like how sweet this guy is. He has such a servant's heart. I love how he broke through the plate glass window to help Novalee deliver her baby. And, just reminded me of Christ, like there's nothing Christ wouldn't do to help us, get to where we need to be. And when Americus got kidnapped, I just loved how he was like attacking the cops. I'm like, ooh, Forney, you go Forney. But yeah, I'm just team Forney. And I think that if Novalee and Forney were a Hollywood couple, maybe their name would be Forney. Doesn't sound too cute, but I think Forney is awesome sauce. All right, y'all, what is y'all's favorite quote of the film? Mine is Novalee when she was encouraging Lexi and she said, our lives can change with every breath we take. I think that it is an amazing, hopeful statement to hold on to. All right, y'all, some final thoughts on one of Oklahoma's most favorite couples. All right, y'all, so I have two major takeaways for my final thoughts. One is the fact that we notice that at the end of the film, they get married at Walmart and the voice over the loudspeaker is saying that Walmart is running a special on potting soil and rakes. And when you think soil, you think good ground, okay? Novalee is no longer planting a buckeye tree. The question is, what are Novalee, Forney, and Americus going to plant together? Like the potting soil, Novalee's life is good, fertile ground. And God is going to continue to make things grow in her life. No matter who he uses to plant or who he uses to water, it is God who makes things grow. That's the word. And the word also says in Ephesians 3:20, God is able to do more than we can ask, think, or imagine. Because his imagination is literally out of this world. His imagination and his mind are infinite. Now, Novalee, maybe all she wanted for herself was to just be a single mom and work her job. She didn't think she could have a good man. She didn't think she could have a good marriage. But she received so many blessings and more are on the way because of God's mighty power at work within her and in her life. Amen. All right, y'all. I know this is a little long, but thanks for sticking around. We have a bonus. How is the Lord redeeming Lexi? Well, y'all know Lexi names her kids after snack foods. I believe, first of all, she's very youthful, but she also wants some sweetness in her life. I believe, her naming her babies after snack foods is symbolic of that. And when she marries Ernie the exterminator, she has 5 kids of her own, and he has 2 that he brings into the marriage. So that's a total of 7 kids, and 7 biblically symbolizes completion. And also, the Lord rested on the seventh day, and I feel that Lexi is about to enter into a time of rest. Now that she's married a good man, of course, she doesn't have to do everything on her own financially now, but now she also has a father for her kids, which is something she mentioned at the beginning of the film, that she was searching for. And also, a lot of women, including myself, just want to be led. And Ernie, being a good man, is able to lead her. I mean, the guy's an exterminator. And what do exterminators do? They get rid of all the pests and anything that could destroy someone's home and life. So Lexi is in good, safe hands with Ernie, and they're just going to have a good, fun, exciting life with their 7 babies. Oh, and I think she's pregnant. So that's 8 babies, and biblically, the number 8 symbolizes new beginnings. So, yay, praise God for Lexi, okay? Praise God for his redeeming hand in her life. All right, y'all, thanks so much for watching. If y'all would like, go ahead and check out, any of my other analyses, and please comment below what y'all thought of this analysis. Comment what y'all thought of the film. Please comment if you saw something in the movie that's worth pointing out. I love you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll speak with y'all again soon.